Rod Millen, tell me, you're doing a lot of stuff all over the map, from military to manufacturers for concept cars. And one of the things that you told me you were doing was with the electrics. And I'm really interested in this whole green performance and green racing kind of thing. You're not going to tell me you got the straightest face. You must be a champ at poker. But tell me about this green racing. I heard that Tesla wanted to build an electric car to maybe go drifting. Can a drift car, an electric car, work in the drift environment?
Well, just the characteristics of electric propulsion, the torque from an electric motor, it's a flat curve. It's not a curve, it's a straight line. So
All torque from zero.
exactly. So, there's a lot of elements like that are absolutely suitable for certain types of racing, especially short endurance type of racing like drifting or, maybe a Pikes Peak event or so on. In these days, you've got a lot newer battery technologies that are much more capable, can store more energy. So you can make the most of that. And then also your controllers, how you deal with that energy supply and how you most efficiently use it. So yes, we're working on different vehicles, for street applications at this stage that are all electric, and then also for our U.S. government here for military applications, working on hybrid electric vehicles that have not only greater fuel economy, but now we can size the engine smaller. And it's a packaging issue as well. We can put a smaller engine, have a battery pack. We can even silently run for 10 miles, so that's an advantage. And then we've got all this onboard power, which to distribute that power for any number of many applications out in the field is an advantage.
So, can the electric car have a place in racing? And you've raced everything, off-road, rallies, sports cars, open wheel, I think, too. But does the electric car have a place in racing?
Oh, absolutely. We're just starting to see that, and it might be the hybrid type there. Your internal combustion engine with electric assist. You've got some opportunities for recovery energy under braking.
The curse system that they're doing in F1.
Yeah, and that exists on Priuses and many hybrid cars, every hybrid car that's out there today. So there's lots of opportunities there. It's just, some organizations haven't really got their heads around it yet, but I see it as definitely a developing technology for motorsports applications.
So the supercar, Shelby supercar, Ultimate Aero EV, they say that they have 500 horsepower and 1,000 foot-pounds of torque, and they could go, I don't know how many 100 miles an hour. But I've had some engineers tell me that that's crazy, that the technology doesn't exist for that yet. You're an engineer. Tell me whether or not it can happen.
It depends on your duration. You've still got battery storage issues. You've got to be very
You could
careful.
put together a battery pack that you could go 200 miles an hour for 30 seconds and then it just stops.
Exactly. So you can do those sorts of
Extension cord runs out.
Well, so now it's a trade-off. It's a balance of systems engineering to figure out, how big should your battery pack be? How big should your electric motor be? And, what's the weight of your vehicle? You got to take all that into account when you're designing a vehicle. And what's the type of event that you're going into? But there's certainly limitations. It's not endless, but battery technology is slowly developing, and so that's getting better and better as well.
So how far away are we from seeing an electric car competing against internal combustion, or will it just be electric cars competing against themselves?
You could have a mixture, and the same old deal again. Depends on the duration of the race. If it's a
drag race or a drift thing is short enough to where you could do it.
No problem. You could easily do that there. But if you want to go a 500-mile race, there's a lot of energy stored in 1 gallon of gasoline. So and you know, look how fast you can dump in another 25 gallons. You know, so you can charge your batteries in 5 seconds. So you know, there's certainly some issues there, and you know, the gas engine certainly has a place. But then, and that's where that combination of both a hybrid system, where you've got a combination of your electric and your gas engine, is certainly available nowadays. That technology exists very, you know, and it's quite mature.
All right, finally, Rod Millen, you the other day, basketball star Michael Jordan inducted into the Hall of Fame, and he was kind of sad about it because it means that his career is over. He's always kept that in the back of his mind that maybe he could come back, or at least he's got the public thinking that maybe I could come back. When's Rod Millen going to get back in a car, or are you completely finished with all forms of racing?
No, not at all. You know, I guess the way I look at my racing behind the wheel, you know, I started out as a hobby, and I loved it so much I just got more and more into it, and before I knew it became my career and my profession, which, you know, I did that for many years. And now I still step in. You know, I did the Baja 1000 with my middle son Ryan, and you know, gave him a 5 or 6 hour relief in the middle of that race. I did the Trans-Siberia the year before for Porsche from Moscow to Mongolia, and that was 15 days behind the wheel. So you know, I dabble now. So it's back to
15 days is not dabbling, Rod.
Yeah, I guess not. But you know, but now I'm back to it's a hobby again. So, you know, today I'm running around Long Beach here with the Toyota folks, and that's a lot of fun. You know, who knows what next, you know, but my serious days of racing are over, and then now it's reverted back to a hobby, and I couldn't be happier.
All right, Rod Millen, he did the best activation of a sponsor deal that I've ever heard. He put a stereo company that sponsored him in New Zealand, he put the stereo in the car and had the speakers pointing out of the car so that when they traveled through the forest on a rally, they could turn the music on. And the co-driver told me once that he could get him pumped up by putting the what is it, the Flight of the Valkyries on the thing, and you could hear this thing coming through the forest with the Flight of the Valkyries. Did that get you turned on?
Well, you know, it was an opportunity that, you know, our sponsors wanted to go after, and it was unique and different, and you know, that's the fun thing about motorsports, you know, whether it be designing a special machine that goes a little faster than the other guys, or coming up with a different twist to get more media attention than the other guys. You know, you've got to keep thinking all the time and coming up with a better solution.
Now, he's got this relationship with Toyota, and he's got this relationship with Pikes Peak, and he's got this relationship with electric cars. I would bet, and I'm not a betting man, but I would bet that somewhere there's a deal in there someplace, but Rod Millen will put it together.